All right, welcome everybody. This is the continuing committee's January 2018 board meeting. We are live, so everybody in the chat room, hello. So let's go ahead. I am Maggie Geppert, Vice Chair. I'm hoping after the period of review, my title will be known as the Executive Officer. I'm going to start from who I see from left to right. First one is Charlie. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hello, I am Charlie Plain, and for probably the next 20 minutes, the chairman of the continuing committee. And unemployed. But yeah, Midnight Lich on the forums and current acting director of 1E. So.
All right, then we've got Daniel here.
Daniel Madison, OK Coyote on the forums. I am the Director of Communications and acting writing team manager.
And that title does not change in the bylaws.
Director of Communications. No, I don't believe so.
Yeah. All right, next we have Justin.
I am Justin. You all know me as Resistance is Futile on the boards. Apparently, I've been known to play board every now and then. Oh, today. Was that today? Chief Financial Officer of the Continuing Committee.
All right, and then pay no attention to the man behind the graphic novel.
Oh, sorry. I'm Rob Fertel, second edition brand manager. In 20 minutes, I'll probably be director of second edition. If anyone lost a stack of $100 bills wrapped in a red rubber band, I have the red rubber band.
All right, thank you guys all for coming tonight. Also, unable to come because he may or may not, I'm not sure at this moment in time, be on a boat, would be Chris Sonstaby, our director of organized play. So he sends his regards from someplace warm, which I really, really wish I was in his general locale, because it is approximately 5 degrees Fahrenheit in Chicago right now. Those of you, for our international viewers, that is probably around -10°C. All right, well, let's get this.
If he has not sent you a report, I have at least a minor announcement that I can make on his behalf.
Oh, okay, excellent. I don't have anything from him, but I know some general things that are going on. So I think probably together we could piece together the report from organized play. But before we do that, let's go ahead and approve the meeting minutes from last meeting. And I'm going to start making those public from Justin's files. I think probably you could see them if you knew how to find them properly on the site. But we'll be making the meeting minutes for this meeting public just for everybody, although it's maybe slightly more entertaining to watch us. Not entirely certain of that, though. So anyone want to move to approve the meeting minutes?
I move that we approve last month's minutes.
All right. Anybody second?
Second.
All right. I'll second.
I wasn't at last month's meeting, so I can't.
Oh, okay.
I can't verify.
All right. I will second then. So everybody here approve?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Anybody against? All right. Cool. All right. So let's go through department reports. So we'll go ahead and start with first edition. Charlie, tell us the mini goings on in first edition.
We had our period of review this morning, and I think it went pretty well. We answered a lot of questions, especially some questions in the chat room. It was drama-free because I think largely 2018 was one of the best years for 1E in a while. There were a couple bumps in the road, but nothing significant. We had to errata a couple cards and do a few emergency bans, but there wasn't any sort of like major devastating play incident. We put out 3 boutiques and 2 full-size expansions. We've done a lot of community engagement. We did Will of the Collective for the first time in quite a while last year, and we're doing it again starting tomorrow. Things are churning along behind the scenes really well. We obviously have places we can work on. We need to get a permanent brand manager into place, which I'm hoping will happen. Hoping It'll be me, but we'll see. We have to, work on. We need to get some schedule stuff smoothed out. Ross and I are still having to play like lateral maneuvers with the schedules and stuff, which I don't necessarily think is anyone's fault. It's just sort of needs change and things happen and products get added to the schedule. There are definitely some places internally where we can improve. We can get more playtest activity. We can get better quality playtest activity. And that's not a shot at any of our current playtesters, but we haven't had a playtest report in 6 weeks at this point. A large part of that is the holidays, but we need to not have giant 6 weeks periods where we're not getting any data. But on the other hand, I made a playtest deck and playtested for the first time in a while on Lackey. So I want to lean more into that in 2019. Overall, I think Department in First Edition is in a really good spot. There are always things to improve, but I think it was a relatively smooth year with a lot of positivity, and I'm looking forward to having a similar experience next year.
All right, excellent, Charlie. And along the lines of the online playtesting, that does seem to be kind of a that's a thing that used to be true, that we didn't do online playtesting, but it's still, I think we need to get out the word that we're allowing online playtesting, and that the files for first edition and second edition both have Lackey files now. And then maybe this is something we should start working with to see if we can get people who are in the dojo interested in doing online playtesting.
Yeah, and a couple months ago, 6 months ago, we hired a playtest manager, Alan French, ADF8 on the boards. And one of his big jobs was going to be like educating playtesters, like teaching, because we don't really have any, so like you just kind of like, here's a file, figure it out, and there's ways to playtest and there's ways to not playtest, and so having somebody whose job it would be to like help teach that and then manage playtester feedback, because there have been some tensions in the past with design and playtest, so having somebody in a management role that could be like a point of contact was going to be very helpful. But then unfortunately he had some personal things he had to deal with, which caused him to get very far behind in his work. He's one of those like traveling around the country, around the world all the time, working 20-hour day types. So he's been digging out from under that. I'm told Patty Ty, who's the creative manager, is good friends with Alan, and I'm told that he'll be back soon. And once he comes back and gets settled in, talking with him about revamping the application and revamping the policies and getting online up and running again is going to be a big priority. And then I'm hoping we can talk with the Lackey guys, the guys who maintain our Lackey plugins, and make things even easier for people to test online. But yeah, it's a priority. I'm just sort of waiting for our playtest manager to get back before moving forward on it.
All right, excellent. So any other questions from you guys about first edition? All right, let's go ahead and move on to second edition then.
So we had our period of review 24 hours before first edition had theirs. Went as well as can be expected. If you're watching this video, you could probably see that period of review down here somewhere. Looking ahead, we have a Valentine's Day set coming out, and we're actually going to start with some contests with prizes generously donated by our current vice chair. First article with those is set to go on Tuesday, and there's pretty much going to be one a week leading up until the expansion preview and eventual release. We're planning on a spring-summer set as well. That's going pretty well. Testing is in progress and going really well. I imagine that rules and story will have that in fairly short order. For errata, there's 3 cards that we're looking to change. One of them's a big one that we're going to be getting out there to help smooth everything's out on the meta. And then there's a couple other ones that are more for future stuff going forward. If you haven't checked out on the forums, there's a Hurt and Heal going on, and also some full art cards, which are really awesome to look at.
Oh,
Yeah.
Charlie's got a
Muted,
question.
Charlie.
He's muted.
Sorry, I know. I just realized. I need to talk to you about that, Ross. But Johnny is basically willing to give this a go.
What
and
Lucas is eager to do something too. This will work out.
yeah, well, so
I would love
so
to see those. Those are amazing.
Johnny basically reached out to me and said, "I want to do this with Lucas," and so we're like, "Okay." So we're going to do a test. Johnny and Lucas. Here's what's going to happen. Lucas is going to make the images. We chose 2 cards, one 1E and one 2E, and Lucas is going to make the images. Johnny is then going to go in and lay out the files. We're going to print them through our normal printing process, and they're going to go to Dan as our primary production office. He's going to figure out how to do it, how much extra expense there is, and how much time it is. Because if it's 30 minutes a card, not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
What do we refresh memory? What do we? I haven't been on the TUI that forums in a bit.
So if you haven't seen it, you need to go look. There's a 1E thread and a 2E thread, but it's basically full art ships, borderless cards where the art extends through the whole template, except for the game.
Magic has done that with a lot of their promos.
Yeah. Magic has done it a bunch. And Pokemon's done it, and basically every CCG's done it. But it just blows out the black border with a fully extended image. So like, imagine, the 1E card we're doing is Premier USS Enterprise. Because this is the 25th birthday of the game. So if we do it, that's a great ship to do.
They just
so it's amazing. There's a beautiful space nebula behind it, and the colors go all the way out to the border. The biggest question is not sourcing the images or building the files, it's building the card. So basically we're going to run 3 sheets of each and send them to Dan, and Dan is going to experiment and see what he can do about getting them into production and seeing how much is and then we'll have a better answer. And then if we can do it, we're going to do it. We'll do it. It's going to be super rare and super limited, and when and where we do it. But
so the image isn't the problem. I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The image isn't the problem. It's can we assemble a foil without.
Right. So and Maggie, I know, can speak to this, but
being borderless.
The black border on the card is sort of that's where you can make a mistake. If it's not quite centered properly, you can adjust it sticking it on the card. If you don't have a black border, if you're running the image all the way out, now that's got to have a bleed on it. So it's got to be a bigger border than it normally would be. And you have to be much more precise about cutting it. And then there's extra work for cornering each card. So the question is going to become, how much is that extra work? Does it add too much expense or too much time? Because again, in 30 minutes, Dan could probably make 27 regular promos. If it takes him 30 minutes to make a full art promo, that's not going to be something that we can do sustainably. Now, maybe we can release the file so people could make their own. There may be options there, but basically what we're in right now is sort of the experimental phase. Is like, let's see, is this something we can do? And so based on the results there, Ross and I will have to sit down and figure out, all right, what cards are we doing, and when do we want to use them, and how do we want to use them? But I just wanted everybody to know that, somebody posted a cool thing they did, and other people got interested, and now we're going to try it. So
no, they look awesome. They look awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say I can screen share, but I'm not going to worry about it then if we've gone and looked. So everybody go to the 1st edition gameplay, the 2nd edition gameplay boards. Lucas Thompson, a.k.a. Edge of Hearing, has done some just mind-blowing AI cards that look just really fantastic. So when I think about like the homebrew homemade cards that people did back in the 90s and what people can do now, it's crazy to see the difference. Because I collect people's crazy homebrew cards because I like them. So Like I have a collection of them that people have sent me over the years, and the
Do you have the one that's
progression is.
super awesome times 4?
Do I have one that's super awesome times 4?
No, I forget what it was, but somebody posted a card that had some ridiculous skill times 4, and I think it was Johnny. He responded by saying, "This card is super awesome times 4." It was really funny. I'll have to see if I can find it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, we're good. We're getting so let's move on. Let's move on in the agenda because we are getting a little off topic here. All right, communications, Daniel.
Oh, what are we doing? Hey, I might not be an acting writing team manager for much longer. I have an applicant that I'm going to be interviewing soon. So we'll probably in the next week or two, and I'll let you know how that's filling the writing team position. In the meantime, I'm still doing that, and I'm getting ready to take on a number of projects. I've been talking to a couple people about doing some just some not learn to play videos, but like because I can't edit, but just like videos of like me playing games on Wacky with somebody else, where we'll use like starter decks and just kind of explain what we're doing as we're playing. And I kind of feel like with a lot of Star Trek that like the best way to learn is by like actually seeing the game. You know, if you can't learn by doing, you can at least learn by seeing the game being played. And I think the visual is a lot better than just somebody droning the rules to you. So it's something I want to try. So that's something that we're looking into. In the meantime, our social media manager, Austin Chandler, is killing it with keeping people engaged on Facebook. He's been posting often. He's been going over not just our articles, but a lot of the big topics going on in the forums, and just keeping people talking on Facebook and Twitter. And our chief ambassador, Michael Shea, has been working hard on kind of getting a map of who's around as far as active ambassadors, and looking to see if he can fill some positions. And he's also been working with he's been working with Charlie. I'm not sure who that's going to fall to afterwards, but basically working on getting some new rewards together for the ambassadors, and for ambassadors to give to people in their own play groups as well. Are we allowed to talk about that publicly, Charlie?
Sure. Although we should make a note to, at some point, figure out who is going to, because as chairman, I have traditionally managed promos because it transcends multiple departments.
Yeah.
And for now, I'm certainly willing to continue to do that, but we should probably have a larger discussion about where to stick that responsibility officially. But anyway, we're going to do, Mike had some grand ideas when he took over, and we talked about the realities of some of them and pared them down to some excellent ideas. And so we're going to continue doing ambassador promos. In the past, we've done the Loxana and we've done Neelix, and this year is going to be Cardassians. It's going to be Gul Lamek for 1E and 2E, and it's going to be an absolutely hilarious Tribble with Lamek on it. I forget which power it is right now, but it's Andrea made it, and she sits right here in the office next to me, and I was put my head in my hands.
I was freaking the whole time I was assembling those because they just look creepy. Lamek is suddenly a blonde.
Yeah.
And there's a very Trump vibe to it too, so it's like just extra creepy. But
there's also this cool looking banner behind over Charlie's shoulder that I think that has something to do with the chief ambassadors doing.
Yeah, we've always wanted to do this, and we just never did. And so Mike Shea was sort of kicking our ass to get it done, and now it's done. Johnny made that. It's a 8-foot standee banner that collapses down into like a little thing. I was so disappointed. I had this up in the background of the 1E period of review, and nobody said anything about it. Not one person even mentioned it, but that's going to be at our big events from now on. So Continentals, Gen Con, anywhere where we can promo, that's going to be there.
All right. I think that pretty much covers things on our end. In the meantime, we just we continue to plan as new expansions come in. We plan articles and for the writing team and spoilers for the social media, and that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, and the hopefully the writing team applicant is a cautionary tale for all of you who may complain about something, because he saw some typos in an article and mentioned them, and I sent him a PM and said, "Hey, we need a writing team manager who can edit things. Why don't you apply for the job?" And finally, after a while, he thought about it and said, "Yes, okay."
Was that the guy that called me out hard in
Yeah.
my one article? All right, okay.
Yeah, it was.
Good.
So yeah, I will come after you. All right, who's next? It's
You want to talk about Ops, Maggie?
Yeah, Ops is next on the list. We will be searching for a director of operations. After the period of review, they will go through. They'll go through the interview process, and that is a little more codified now in the bylaws. So at least I think I made those changes. We'll have to check, but if need be, we can amend. So but he or she, whoever applies to be director of operations, we will be conducting a search for that position, and they'll go through the refresh for comment, whatever that stage here. So in operations background, I mean, the big thing that's happened as far as I know in the background of ops is, at least for the programming side, is the 2E backwards compatible cut off. They're doing a lot of work there. I haven't heard much on the achievement side, although I hear that things are finally, some of the programming blockages in achievements are getting removed, and we may be seeing there are some new achievements up right now. There's one for Shattered Mirror. I don't know how long it'll last. I don't know how long that particular achievement is active. I'm hoping that my deck next weekend will qualify me for whatever that is. Charlie, do you know anything else? I mean, the warehouse is we've got the satellites and up and running. I've been assembling promos, and our other satellite locations have been working on that. So thank you to everybody who's volunteered for that. Anything else, Charlie, that you know of?
In terms of achievements, I think what they're working on right now is clearing the backlog. Because there's a ton of achievements designed that just didn't get implemented because everybody hit a wall. So I think they're just working through that backlog of getting all of those up and running and it added. And then I don't know if there's going to be a big announcement day or if they're just going to slowly put them in and then announce them afterwards. But
they've already put some in. I think that's why there wasn't an article about them, is I think they've just been like slowly activating them as they get them done.
Well, yeah, as I understand it, the way it's been going is the person who's been programming has just been fixing them as they get a chance. And so they just turn on. I don't have any more details on that. I know that, the biggest single obstacle to achievements over the past several years has just been staffing and technical power, getting everything coded. With that obstacles out of the way, there should be no reason why regular achievement updates aren't going to be happening. So I don't have any more info on that, but that's just sort of what I understand right now. Just had something else I wanted to say, and I lost it. So moving on.
Yeah, but we have a stocked warehouse now. I have word that the Shattered Mirror release promo is heading my way for assembly, and hopefully we'll get those kits up soon. Oh,
this is 40 more tournament kits. 40 more tournament kits to put together. It's going to be happening. So.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, we have 3 satellite production offices, 2 of which are fully operational. One we're still getting up and running. If anybody out there is interested, I think a 4th one wouldn't be a 5th one really, because Dan still counts. Wouldn't be unwarranted. But I think that we're going to be working, like, I'm already getting the mid-year promos through the process. So the next big thing to get done is regional promos. Once those are done, we'll make some more tournament kits, and then we'll get the next set of tournament kits ready. And then once those are done, we'll start the 2020 stuff and get that done. And so the plan is to just be working as far ahead as we can with our 3 to 5 satellites, and just getting Dan have to really put together the super special promos and just pack stuff. So.
We're sitting right now. We're at Salem, Chicago, Atlanta, and San Diego, correct?
That sounds right.
Yes. Salem, Chicago, and San Diego are operational. Atlanta, we are still waiting on some hiccups. But Mike Shea's doing good work, and I know he's super busy, so hopefully we'll get there were some production problems with the first run, so we gave him more notes and more stuff to work on, and once that's hopefully those are addressed, and we can get him up and running too.
And it's good to know that this new process seems to be working.
Yeah, there's definitely an upfront cost because we have to send about $100 worth of supplies to any new group, and then there's always the risk that group flakes and doesn't do anything or doesn't produce quality product, and so there's sunk costs there. But once those are absorbed, we can maintain inventory level, which has been a big problem for years. That should increase and smoothen our income stream. When people know they can go to the promenade and order a kit, they're going to be much more likely to order a kit. So.
All right, good. Then organized play. Like I mentioned, Chris couldn't be here today. Lucky guy. But he is working hard behind the scenes. We have he got the regional applications up before he left. So if you guys are interested in hosting a regional this year, it's all the same cost as last year, which we had brought down a bit from previous years. Regionals, I will say, are one of our big income streams. So the Masters kits, Nationals kits, Continentals, Worlds, we send to the host for free for all of those kits. And so the regional kits are where we make some of our revenue. That allows us to pay for those other level 3 and higher events, send those out for free. But regional applications are now open, and you can go to the promenade to pay your regional fees and also order the regional kits, and we will be sending those out to you. Those are not yet in abundance, but they will be soon available to be shipped back, and I will. They will be available to anybody who has any of the early regionals, because I know that there's some groups who like to do the regionals. That very first weekend, I want to say it's Beckles Bloodbath, Patty, that is always on that last weekend in March, and so that's and normally my group does early April. We had a scheduling snafu there, but so if you have early regionals, you'll get a kit. Don't worry.
And if I could say a word, if you are a prospective tournament director and you're thinking about if you've been running events or if you're thinking about running events, then a regional is a good place to start, especially if you've never run an event. The first one I ran was a regional because I had no prize support, and at least that way I could get a kit for the first time. And it's also a good way to spotlight your play group for a week. That's regional season. Everybody is paying attention, and we have articles where we make predictions on who's going to win each regional, and we talk about the winning decks. It's always a big deal. So for whenever you have that regional, in addition to getting the cool prize support for that 1 week, then your play group gets talked about. Like that's the big deal this week. So just wanted to hype that up.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Regionals are awesome. The promos this year, oh my god, the art team have outdone themselves. Yeah. I cannot wait to get those shinies in my hands because they look. The proofs I've seen look amazing. So yeah,
once Chris gets back, I'll work with him and Logan to get those loaded up so we can start. Like we should probably spoil the regional ones sooner rather than later, and the Masters ones. So
yeah, because they're paired. Yeah, so
I hope you like the color gray.
Ooh.
I don't think I can assimilate to that.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, so and we're still in the middle of league season, so keep watching your local leagues. I've been posting my my league results up and at the after each tournament. So if you've got a league going, tell us about what your league's doing back on back on the boards. We'd love to hear how your leagues are going. And as usual, also the another great thing about regionals is that Design gets a lot of their data from the decks that people post for all of their tournaments, but regionals are really a bellwether for what's hot and what's not, and what needs support and what doesn't. So if you guys are playing and you're not, you're having tournaments and you're not posting your decks to the tournaments, we really highly encourage you to do that.
Yeah, I said this morning in the 1E period of review, but if you don't want to play tournaments, if you don't like the word tournament, if you just do kitchen table games, if you want to play 1E open with the cards as Decipher wrote them, play your game however you want. Tell us what's going on. Like, use the system and report it anyway, or post on the gameplay forum and tell us about your event. Like, the only thing that we want to know is that you're playing and what you're doing. We'll never know that there's a group of 10 people that get together every other Friday and play 1E open to Decipher rules 1E, but if we don't find out about it, and especially on the Facebook groups, we're seeing a lot of people like, I don't really know about the virtual cards. I don't really like them. We just like to play old school with our house rules. And I'm like, that's fantastic. Come to the website and tell us about it. Tell us what your house rules are. Ask questions about the virtual cards. We want to know what you're doing and what you're playing, whether it's competitive or kitchen table. Tell us, and anything that we can do to make that easier, let us know. And it goes for 1E, 2E, and Tribbles.
Yep. All right, then. So that's what I know about OP right now. I should put in, we do have a couple masters coming up soon. March 1st through 3rd, if I recall correctly, is Manasters 2 in Manassas, Virginia. That's at the Casa Hosp. And then coming up at the end of March, and this hasn't gotten much advertisement yet, but coming up at the end of March is the San Diego Masters. So I'm gonna start branding that one Spring Break Masters for everybody. So those are some of the big events coming up soon. All right.
I have an announcement. I know people have been asking us to pin down the dates for North American Continentals. And I can tell you that the article is going up tonight that will announce the dates. And I'll go ahead and tell you, for those that are listening, it's going to be June 21st to June 23rd in Atlanta. That's North American Continental Championships this year. There's more information in the article that Michael Shea's got written, and that'll be up at midnight Eastern tonight.
Yeah, that's another destination I have to talk my husband into letting me fly off to. I've been promising Michael. I've been promising Mike Shea I'd come down to Atlanta for a while now. Continental seems like a good time for it. All right. Next thing we've got here, financial status. How we doing, Justin?
I mean, the income is starting to climb up. With our warehouse in fully stocked, able to get stuff shipped out quicker and not run out of stock in the promenade, which is great. Hopefully, it'll build up the community's confidence in our price support that we can offer them. Big thing, article going up tonight. The donation request that was put in the Peldor Joy article that Maggie has set up back early December. We did come up with $164 of donations came in. Thank you to everyone. I know it's tight with around the holiday season, but every dollar does count in cancer research. And so we did make an $82 donation, half of what came in to that cause. Great cause. Cancer, it's colorectal cancer, I believe, is the #2 leading cause of death in men affected by cancer. And so that is something that is a huge, huge thing, especially if you have family history in it. Most of the biggest overhead costs for the 2019 season are behind us. One of the biggest things that put us behind was we did order the playmats for 2019 last year, which did put us a little bit behind that, but those have been ordered, and so we shouldn't hopefully need any other major expenses. I did get a request to ask what's going on with the 1E prize money from Alan French. Charlie, have you had a chance to talk with him about that? Or
no, he hasn't gotten any until he gets back. I haven't had the chance to talk to him about anything. Nothing got paid out last year because it was all set aside for travel reimbursement, and nobody eligible traveled as far as I know. Now that's possible we owe somebody and we need to figure that out. But the large chunk of the money that he donated is still set aside. And at the time he indicated to wanting to roll it over this year and use it in a different way, but we haven't spoken.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So it should be good. We're in good places right now. And the game is in a great place, and we got the money to keep. If we had to stop doing everything and to keep the website up and running, we could probably keep the website up and running with the money we have for, I'd say, at least 5 years, maybe more, without any other additional money coming in. So we're in a good place to keep this going as long as people want it.
All right. Good then. And let's see. All right, so those are the department reports. Now, just to old business, I just wanted to, in addition to what Justin said about the donation being made to colorectal cancer research, I wanted to thank everybody who participated in a Peldor Joy tournament this December. We didn't have very many. I'm hoping next year I'll be able to get a few more people who are interested in doing that. Chasing the can, bending the rules. I know we had a great time down in the basement of Doom. I'm totally stealing that, Justin. In December for our annual holiday party, and we had a Chase the Can tournament. We bent the rules for 2nd edition and just played lots and lots of Tribbles. But we did have quite a few people. I should ask Stefan. I forgot to ask Stefan how many people participated in the gift exchange, but it looks like everybody had a ton of fun with the gift exchange. I saw a bunch of those presents and they just looked totally, totally awesome. So thank you to all the wonderful, generous, creative people who did the gift exchange. What's up, Charlie?
Mike Shea, I'm calling you out. I worked really hard on your gift, and you haven't posted a picture yet. Post a picture of the AI that we made for you, because it's amazing. That's all I'm saying. Mike Shea, you're called out. Post a picture.
If only someone made that and could take a picture of it and post it on his behalf.
I can't wait to use my custom cards against humanity cards.
I can't humble brag on what I did, really what Andrea did on behalf of me, until he posts it. Because if I post it, now I'm just being arrogant. If he posts it saying, look what I got, then I can humble brag. So I'm calling you out, Mike Shea. Mike Shea, the prefect, post it. Post the AI Ducat that I sent you. Post it.
All right. So Peldor Joy, everyone. It was a great holiday season, and I was astonished at the donations we got in. So thank you all for all of your donations. All right. Next thing here. This got tabled from last month. Justin, let's we want to talk about implementing best practices for financial accountability. So what do we still need to do? I know you've been working a little bit on that this month.
The biggest thing was figuring out a way to safeguard the sources of how much everybody spends on the promenade. Because currently, if we were to give the PayPal merchant statement that we get every month to somebody to the audit committee, whoever that may be, internal, external, unknown at this point, the source, if it's internal, the sources of the income are open there, so that person can see how much is being spent. And so if we, by switching to a bank account and use PayPal as the merchant platform to receive all the money in, then we'll be able to provide the audit committee with the summary page for the PayPal statement, which just has the numbers and nobody's names, and then the actual bank statement from the bank, to be able to do the audit, to have the full accountability. Not to mention also a bank does provide some more protections, financial protections, fraud alerts, fraud protections than PayPal does, of course, because it's federally regulated. But that's work in progress. That's a big progress, I know, because switching things over takes a long time. My experience personally, it takes a while to get things switched over. So that is still working. So that will we can hopefully have a article. I think we may, Maggie, what do you think? Put up an article for audit committee, see if we get any volunteers to do that.
Well, I mean, we have one volunteer to chair the committee already. So then we just probably need a couple more people. Pardon me. Yeah, so anybody out there who's got an accounting background or any sort of financial background, or if you just like adding up columns of numbers and also subtracting, please shoot me a PM, or actually probably Justin's better for that, and we'll get rolling on. We do want to get the annual audit cycle rolling. All right. Anything else, Justin, that we need to do with that?
I think it's going to take a while to change things over. In this because with regulations, with BSA banking regulations increasing, it makes it harder for our situation to get things done based on knowing your customer rules that have changed dramatically. Because there is no more remote opening accounts, and so we have to take that and figure out how can we make the best of this and keep the security where it needs to be, and the worry and all of that out of the picture.
Yeah, I decided just now against a sarcastic comment about money laundering. And the risks thereof.
And so I say we are honestly, when you look at money laundering, this is probably could be a red flag for money laundering. High internet traffic business with international community members as well. We would definitely probably be a high risk for that, just coming from regulation standpoint. But
Yep.
Would that be one of the things that they ask us about the first couple times, and then we say it's normal, here's what we're doing, and then they just realize that it's normal what we're doing?
Also, we're not dealing in the kind of money that sets off
no
money laundering alerts. No.
All right. So next thing here then. So if we're done with that, next thing here is just reminding our viewers of the process for what's going on with the period of review and how the voting process is going to work. I put out an article on January 1st that seems to have been ignored because apparently I wrote the Brian Evethers of articles for the front page. And for all of you first edition viewers out there, Brian Evethers is a notorious wall of text personnel that nobody knows what he does, and because there's just so much words, nobody's read it. Anyway,
For Magic the Gathering fans, it's the ice quadrant of articles.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'll have to take your word on that, Daniel. Anyway, if you are, so it's laid out in the article
Charlie's
titled
Googling that now.
2018-2019 organizational notes, but it's worth a note here. In the bylaws, we now have it stated that every year after the period of review, the 7 board members will be subject to a vote of no confidence by the membership of the continuing committee. Now, a member is defined now as anybody who has a premium membership, an active premium membership. So, voting. And so anyone who volunteers should automatically have been granted a premium membership. So if you have volunteered in the past year for the continuing committee, if you've done any work for us and you haven't yet gotten your premium membership, please let me know. Also, send that information to Chris Lobin, aka Mailweeze on the boards, our chief programmer. Sorry, guys, I'm getting over a cold. So voting will take place via an e-ballot. You will receive an email from e-ballot on February 1st, and voting will be open from February 1st to the 8th. I will be using e-ballot because it allows us to securely, anonymously vote, but also such that you get one vote per. There's a one-time use code in the email, and some of the professional organizations I'm a member of use this service. So that's how the voting is going to be conducted this year. So if you want to vote, you need to, and you haven't been a volunteer, you need to buy a premium membership, 1 month minimum subscription for $5, folks. So watch the period of review. Decide on whether you have confidence in our leadership, and the vote will take place after the period of review is over. So, questions from anybody here? I hesitantly look at the
one note. As I understand it, acting members are not subject to this because they're not officially in the position.
Correct. We won't be voting on Charlie as acting brand manager, but we will be conducting a search for the first edition brand manager after the period of review is over.
What I have agreed to do, and I mentioned this again this morning, is sit for a similar vote, which will be essentially, do I have your blessing to apply for this position permanently? I've been doing the job for the better part of a year. I think I'm well suited to the task, but I want the community to have the chance to weigh in on that. So I can't be voted no confidence because I'm not officially seated in that seat. So this is a chance for you to say, I am okay with you going through the application process. And from then on, my name is in the hat with anyone else who applies to be the brand manager, and I will have to go through the interviews and earn the seat. But I will not do that. I will not apply if I don't have the confidence of the 1E community and the community at large. So I just wanted to note that while I will not be on that ballot, I'm asking for a secondary question on there saying, does Charlie have your blessing to apply for the position? Just wanted to note that.
All right, cool. Apparently, I'm just scrolling up through the message boards. Apparently, the San Diego crew has not the San Diego crew has not confirmed the date of San Diego Masters with Michael Van Bremen. So Dan, if you're watching this, dude. Anyway,
But it is end of March. Is it going to be San Diego sometime in March?
that is the text that I got from Dan Hammond yesterday because I asked him.
I have just messaged Dan asking him to confirm with Michael. So
Okay.
that should be resolved very soon.
I apologize to the San Diego crew for stepping beyond my bounds on that one. All right. Next on the agenda, so I get for having multiple tabs open. All right. So that's our voting process for the period of review. So vote. All right. New business. We need to approve the bylaws. So we will be approving version 1.0. I have been begging and pleading people for the last, month for version 1.0 to send me feedback, and I got a PM literally 5 minutes before this meeting started. Here's a long list of nitpicks and typos and inconsistencies, and I'm like, oh man, really? Thank you to the person who sent those to me. I will make note of them. We will probably need to do an amendment of the bylaws next month to get all that stuff in. So anyway, does anybody here move to adopt the bylaws?
Sure, I'll move to adopt them. We got to start somewhere.
All right.
That motion.
All right. So we have Daniel moving. We have Ross seconding. So all in favor of adopting the current version of the bylaws, version 1.0, say aye.
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 All right. Opposed? All right. Motion passes. We are now running under a system of bylaws. Yay! Okay. Let's see.
So
All right.
official. I feel like I should be wearing a tie.
Oh yeah, this just me being on like a zillion committees in academia. All right. So then the last thing I have on new business is electing a chairman. So that was another important step with the bylaws, so that we only have 7 board members. Is we have officially now deleted the position of chairman as an individual position. The chairman now is simply basically the person who runs the monthly meetings of the board. So now instead of having one person at the top, we have 7 equal directors who are running the continuing committee. So did anybody have any one that they wanted to nominate to be chair for 2019? Charlie?
I cannot think of a better person more suited to this task than you, so I nominate Maggie Gifford.
Second.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll go along with that.
All right. So then I guess so all in favor of me becoming chair?
Aye.
I will accept the
Aye.
nomination, by the way. All right. Anybody
Aye.
opposed? All right. Motion passes. I will be chairing the continuing committee for 2019.
If the chair might grant me one moment.
Sure, Charlie.
With that vote and that nomination, my 10-year tenure as the chairman of the continuing committee has ended. And I'm feeling surprisingly emotional about it. But I wanted to thank everyone here in particular and everyone in the community, past, present, and future, for calling me out on my mistakes and supporting me through tough times and still playing this silly game 25 years on. I love all of you, and I hope to continue to be involved. And this board is a good thing, and Maggie, you are my rock, and I love you dearly. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Charlie, for your service for the last 10 years. This is such a wonderful hobby for me. When I moved to Chicago, I don't know how I would have made friends if I didn't have this hobby, and this doesn't that wouldn't exist today without the continuing committee. So thank you for your leadership through thick and thin, Charlie, and I hope that you will continue to work. That you will be able to continue to be a member of this board. Although I will be assembling the search committee to find the first edition brand manager position soon. All right, so I'm going to check the. It is time for public comment, and this is the first time we've gotten to do this because this is our first public meeting. So I'm going to look at the. We've got a few people in the chat room. See if there's any. Amber says, "Oh, I didn't expect emotions." Yeah, I know we didn't advertise that.
I'm feeling surprisingly. I was not expecting them either. Stupid emotions.
All right. So, are there any questions from the chat room? Apparently, Justin needs to use some CC money to buy me some Robitussin.
We'll give him a minute to catch up.
Like I said, while waiting for questions, I mean, the organization, this community has been, great, since, it's been, at least 6 years. And, I mean, I've met some great friends, that have been all around the world, touring, on top of playing some trek around the world, seeing South Africa, first family member to go to the continent of Africa, first family member to go to Australia as well. We have some great people in this community, to be able to put people up in their homes to come out, to save money. That's a huge thing that I think is really impressive. I don't know if Magic community does it or Star Wars community, but I would hope they would, because it's an amazing gathering time. So
yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not seeing anything besides snarky comments, so I'm gonna go ahead and just say so we're normally trying to do the last weekend of any month. So I'm sorry, I'm laughing at the things I'm seeing in the chat room right now.
The chat room.
I know I gotta get out of the chat room. All right. Tentatively, our next meeting, we've been doing them Saturdays of the last Saturday of the month at noon Eastern. So that's tentatively February 23rd. So we will post notice of meeting time and date to the public, as well as the agenda. I think we got a minimum of 10 days beforehand in the bylaws. I got to double check that. There's so much in there now. It's all changed. So if you're watching this, thank you for watching our broadcast, and we will see you guys next month.
Whoa, Paris did it!